Market update here on the 2nd. So we went down a little bit farther from the last video I did. Here's the good thing about the finish today. If you're bullish, if you're bearish, you didn't want to see this, but it finished above the 20 DMA, which is kind of where I was looking to see how it would finish, and it finished above it. So that is bullish overall. Again, going back, if you didn't watch the video from earlier, the max we can go to is 396. So that's the 1.61 fib here for the C wave. However, I think it's potentially finished because we finished above the 20 DMA and the whole move is pretty much already completed. Again, this is a B wave because you can see here if it's an impulse move, this comes back into the first wave, and then we don't even make it to the 1.61 fib. So it's a clear B wave. So you have A down, that big move we had a few weeks ago, B up, C down. So it's an ABC move, so you know from that fact it's going to be a bullish move out of here. We just don't know if it's going to new highs or if it's only going to be a bounce. If the fourth wave or the third wave's finished, let's say it's finished right here, then I'm looking for something like this basically. And then I would be looking for, another bounce down here to like 375. If we are already finished, then I'm just looking for an impulse move to new highs. Or not already finished, we're not finished yet. Impulse move to new highs, how could that be possible? Well, this could be, I think on the hourly, you can see it pretty well. This can be a third wave right here. So it's still possible to go to new highs. I bought calls here at the lows, pretty safe ones, but I'm pretty bullish from here. I think the best landing spot for a bounce would be up here, the gap fill here at 408.67. That's probably the new supply zone we're looking at. So let's go to the 4-hour and maybe even the daily. So 4 hours best. So the 4-hour right here at 408 to 74 all the way to 410.77 is where I'd be looking at for a bounce or potentially a new high. I would lean towards a bounce to just here, but we will see. So that's QQQ. Tesla on the daily, same thing. Last 20 minutes comes and breaks above the 20 DMA. That is bullish. I think it probably bottomed, like I said in the video earlier. We're either working on a second wave or a B wave. It'd be very, very unlikely that this ends up being an impulse move down here to 240 now, especially with the close on QQQ as well. So I'm basically looking for either this, and overall maybe something like this, and then down more. If QQQ is in a corrective move, already started the fourth wave, but more than likely, I think it makes more sense that Tesla is going to go to 275. It was very strong today, flat while everything else was selling off, and the market was down 2%. So what does that tell you? Flat, down 2%. It's very strong. So if the market retraces, I expect Tesla to take off. That's the only thing that makes sense. That's just logic right there. But we'll see. The market, they could just hold it there. There's lots of calls. It can be very illogical. So we'll see which one we get. We're not going to know on these moves until we get into the move, whether it's a corrective move or it's an impulse move. I would prefer an impulse move. I want to see Tesla get to 275 because that's going to be a prime spot to load up on puts before earnings. But if it does this move right here to 258, 260, I would still load up on puts, knowing it's a corrective move, and then I'd be looking for something down here in the low 230s. Potentially lower, but at that point, it's either going to be a second wave or it's going to be a B wave. If it's a B wave, because we got 5 waves here potentially, then it's got to last all the way till basically early February. So we'll see which one it is. First trading day of the year, but I think it's nice. They sold everything off right away, and you got a chance to dip buy. Apple, I dipped by this one. I was down a little bit, not worried about it. Same thing. Nice bounce off the lows. I'm looking for a gap fill up here at 192. If that ends up being a second wave, then okay. Whoops. I would be looking for pullback basically right to the gap fill, maybe higher than that. Low 190s. And potentially a fifth wave up here. Here's the two different paths it could take. And again, this comes down to impulse or corrective. So corrective is going to be impulse. Could potentially go to 204. So that is Apple. I dipped by this one. It does have a lot of support here at 182. The weekly 20 moving average is there. Amazon's kind of a weird one. It's already completed 5 waves. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this. I think that I really don't know on this one because this is an expanded flat in my opinion. And if it's an expanded flat, it can go all the way up here to 212. But it's already here at 153 on 5 waves. So you can see here, the third wave to go past this. This is not a first wave overall. This is likely it right here. So I don't know where it's going to end at. We could get an extension. Maybe we get a pullback here and get something like that. Get an extension to 212. It could stop lower than that. I don't know. But on QQQ, I still have this as going much higher. So I would think Amazon would probably do something like this. So that remains to be seen. Microsoft. And then on Microsoft, I think it's kind of the same thing, actually, now that I look at it. Microsoft could be, what's going on here? Okay, Microsoft could be in a fourth wave, though, and it looks like it either is or, yeah, I think it's in a fourth wave. And so, same as QQQ, you're looking at pullback here probably, although that would be a pretty deep pullback. So, that would be a very deep pullback to here. I know the third wave ended here, fourth wave. Let's just see how long the first wave was. So look at that. We nailed the top. So it's going to be interesting. Same with Amazon. They're the same in the same boat. Are we going to get a pullback? And now looking at this, it's probably the first wave of the overall fifth is probably finished. So I'm going to write 1, 5, or fifth wave. It could be finished too. But again, looking at QQQ, I think there's more upside. So I'm guessing that this will end up being the same thing as Amazon. Could go lower than this too. There is a gap here at 339. Potentially something like that. So we'll see how that goes. But short term, I'm looking for about 380. The dollar, like I said earlier, bounce up here to 105. Another one I haven't gone over in a while is Meta. And let's see how accurate this was. Kind of accurate. Again, this is probably a B wave. nailed the 1.61 fib, filled the gap perfectly. It looks like a B wave to me, 100%. So what does that mean? It means we're pulling back to at least the 0.61 fib, which is 305. Potentially all the way down here to 232, but probably not, because what the market's going to do, I'm guessing these are all going to end up being running flats. That just means a C wave finishes like this. Could be wrong. It could come all the way down here to 232, and that would be basically the top for the market. So we'll see how it goes. This has got to be a first wave down. It hit the max extension. So this kind of makes me think that most of these stocks are probably finished as far as the B wave goes. Let's see where it finished in relation to the 20 DMA. Finished above it. So I'm favoring the retrace here, but I'm favoring also something like that. I can draw a parallel line from the top here. So yeah, I'd be looking for like 304 on Meta. That'd be a buy at 304, and there is a demand zone right there at 300. So Meta is likely going all the way down here before another move higher. But here's the great thing about all these stocks, if you're bullish, they're all in bullish formations. These are all ABC expanded running flats. That means you're going to get another move higher. Unless you get something like this. But even then, any corrective move here, starting on a corrective move, is going to end up going higher eventually. So if you wanted to see the top of the market, you'd have to see an impulse move down. We're not getting that because the B wave is going past the start of the A wave. So everything's still bullish in my book. And let's go over the last one for today, NVDA. Where is it in relation to the 20 DMA? It finished above it again. Another bullish move there, and I would expect potentially a little bit more downside maybe tomorrow, but you're probably going to get a bounce here soon. It looks like maybe this is finished. Potentially one more move down, but I'd be looking for a move back up here to this gap fill at 494 soon. So that's pretty much it. That's the layout. I'm pretty bullish from here because of the way we finished and where we're at in the chart, but it could just be a short-term bounce. I'm thinking I'm pretty bullish into OPEX, so we got about 17 days, and if anything changes, I will keep you updated. But for now, I'm bullish on Tesla, and I have Apple shares and QQQ calls. That's it for now. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe for more updates. I will talk to you tomorrow.